cooked item or a raw item, wrap it in a piece of paper. Like don't use newspaper, but you can use a paper towel or a tissue paper and crush it. Crush it means press it. See that the paper doesn't tear. Don't tear the paper. Don't do it too roughly. Then straighten the paper and observe. Then what you observe, if you see an oily patch directly or when you hold it against a light, then it indicates the presence of fat. For example, you see, suppose you take any food made up of butter, cheese, ghee or oil. Like we eat different types of bhajiyas or bhajis, that is fried fritters or pakodis. So at that time they drain all the deep fried items on a paper towel or a tissue, so that that tissue or paper towel absorbs the excess oil. So that paper indicates the presence of fat in that food substance. So what are the items made up of oil, butter, ghee? So they are pakodis or bhajiyas. Bhajiyas are also known as fritters, F-R-I-T-T-E-R-S, fritters. So all these things, generally the deep fried items which are made in oil, all those indicate the presence of fat in it. All those items when taken out from the stove and put it on a tissue paper or a paper towel, the oil gets absorbed by that paper. So the presence of oil on that paper indicates the presence of fats. But we should never drain all these items on the newspapers, because the newspapers contain some ink which is not good for health. Newspapers are usually blackish in color, right? That is a type of ink. So that is not good for health. Then sometimes false result will be observed. That means suppose if any food items contains water, then when you crush it, the paper towel absorbs the water. Then that gives us the false impression of oil. In that situations, what we can do, suppose if you are not clear of the result, whether it is an oil or water, then take the paper, dry it in the sun for some time. If it is water, the paper will get dried up and the water will get dried up. So if it is oil, it will not get dried up. Clear, right? If it is oil, it gets absorbed by the paper. If it is water, the water will slowly dry up after some time and show the result on that paper. The result will be shown on that paper. So sometimes water is present in the food items. Then false results may be observed. Then at such situations, let the paper dry in the sun for some time or in the fan, so that the water evaporates. Then observe the paper. So you have understood, deep fried items usually show the presence of fats, because deep fried items when taken out from the oil and when put on a tissue or a paper towel absorb all the oil. So we will see that time oil presence. Then this is about the test for the fats. Then what do various nutrients do for the body? We read what are the types of various nutrients: carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, dietary fibers and water. All these are the nutrients for the body. What is the function of these nutrients? Carbohydrates provide us energy. Fats give us energy. But the energy from the fats is much more than from the carbohydrates. Understood? Carbohydrates and fats both provide energy, but fats provide more energy compared to carbohydrates. Then proteins. Proteins are helpful in building of the body. Proteins help in the body building processes. Then vitamins. Vitamins are helpful in protection against diseases. That means it gives you immunity to fight any disease. Then they keep your bones, teeth, gums, eyes healthy. So that is the function of vitamins. In vitamins, we are having many types of vitamins. They are A, B, C, D and K. So what are the functions of these specific vitamins? Vitamin A keeps the skin and the eyes healthy. Generally, vitamin A is sourced from carrots. So if you eat carrots, your eyes will be healthy. So vitamin A keeps the skin and the eyes healthy. Vitamin B helps the brain to function properly. The brain has some specific nervous systems. It helps the brain to function properly. Then you have vitamin C. Vitamin C is usually found in citrus fruits like gooseberry, amla, orange, mosambi, and all these fruits are sources of vitamin C. So vitamin C helps to fight against diseases. That means it boosts your immunity. Suppose if you are having cold, you must take more amount of vitamin C. That means you are giving the body more immunity to fight against the cold. So vitamin D. Vitamin D helps to use the Calcium for the bones. So vitamin D is usually totally calcium. The vitamin D sources will be calcium rich foods or sunlight. If you go and stand in the early morning sunlight, you will absorb all the vitamin D from the sun. So the vitamin D helps to use the calcium for the bones. And vitamin E. Vitamin E protects the skin. There is one more vitamin called K, but vitamin K is naturally present in the body. It is not sourced from outside. The vitamin K is helpful in clotting. It is also known as clotting factor. How you know? Suppose if you get an injury here, immediately your blood clots within 3 to 6 minutes time. How? Whenever there is an injury, the vitamin K from the body comes and forms the clotting fibers over there, and it acts as a clotting factor. So generally the clotting time of your body is not more than 3 to 6 minutes. Then minerals. Minerals help in the growth of the body and maintenance of the health. And minerals are required in small quantities. They help in growth of the body and maintenance of the health. Then dietary fibers or roughage. If we eat fiber rich food, it helps in digestion. So dietary fibers helps us to get rid of the undigested food. Specifically, dietary fibers do not provide any nutrients. They only help us to get rid of the undigested food. Then lastly, water. Water helps to absorb all these nutrients from the body. So water is also essential. Now we will see what are the sources of all these nutrients. So what are the sources of the nutrients till now we have read. The sources of carbohydrates are wheat, rice, bajra, all the grains especially, potato, papaya, melons, mangoes and maize. Maize is also known as the corn. So as I mentioned, cornstarch also contain carbohydrates. So maize is corn. Then moving on to fats. Fats are nothing but oils. So groundnuts, nuts, sesame seeds. Sesame seeds means till seeds. So they also have oil content in them because sesame oil is extracted from these seeds. Then meat. Meat are also a source of fat. Then moving on to proteins. All the dals, cereals, especially gram, moong, tur dals. Then in the non-veg we have animal source, fish, paneer also known as cottage cheese, eggs, beans and peas. Then vitamins, we have different types of vitamins, right? A, B, C, D. So vitamin A sources carrot, fish oil, papaya and milk. So all these are sources of vitamin A. Vitamin B sources are liver of the animals like cow, chicken and goat. Then meat. Then vitamin C boosts your immunity. Vitamin C sources are orange, lemon, tomato and amla. Amla means gooseberry. Vitamin D sources are milk, butter, eggs, fish and sunlight also. Suppose if you stand in the early morning first sunrise, you absorb vitamin D. Then mineral sources are needed in only smaller quantities by the body. So mineral sources are green leafy vegetables, bananas, ginger root, apple, pear and eggs. Then dietary fibers or roughages. Dietary fibers or roughages are only used for digestion of the food. They do not provide any specific nutrients. So sources of dietary fibers are pulses means dals, grains like rice, wheat, bajra, vegetables, fruits as well as potatoes. Then water is necessary for absorption. The sources of water are liquids, milk, water and tea. If you drink water, your body will get water. If you drink milk and tea also, you will get water. So water is necessary for absorption of the nutrients as well as to expel waste from the body. So water expels the waste in the form of urea in the urine. So that is how water is useful also for expelling the waste from the body. So these are the sources of the nutrients.